Welcome to the Talon Outdoors Show. I am just about to yawn. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
Captain Paul Tire.
And I'm Grant.
Oh, man, about to yawn because it's been a long week, and I have gotten up every day this week at 4 a.m. Mariana time when I hit snooze, and then I got up again a few minutes later and came over here and got sidetracked. And I've been doing a little side job all week trying to make up for my lack of preparation for the school year. I have been playing school guardian at a local charter school, directing traffic, watching kids, wearing a vest, load-bearing vest, bulletproof vest, resistant vest. I want to test it. And
I was say we go outside and try that thing out. We'll call it proof if you want to.
But I've been in uniform again for the first 40 hours this week. I've been in uniform longer than that, but got paid for 40 hours. At least I wasn't having to pay anybody to go up there and do it. But I tell you what, I have learned, and I've got kids and grandkids in this same age group. My son's still in middle school. I got grandkids starting elementary school this year, kindergarten and preschool. I got to spend a whole weekend with some of them last weekend, and then I rolled right up into a school environment and was smack dab in my face, reminded that every kid wants to high five you, fist bump, all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I mean, where's that hand sanitizer at?
I hope you've been taking your vitamin C booster all week.
And want to talk to me, and even with my hearing aids, that pitch of voice that those little kids, first, second, third grade have, and I'm like, I have no idea what they just said. I just smile. I try to smile. I don't do well smiling. And I'm like, okay, I have to be officer friendly. I have to be soft around the edges. I can't be Mr. Grumpy all the time. So I just try to stay out of halls as much as I can and respond to radio calls. And I'm not supposed to do anything but sort of stand there and be seen and be a deterrent to issues, but there's a lot of parent drop-off, parent pickup. And I can't help it. I'm like, if I move this cone over 3 feet, this is going to make this better. And if I get out here and wave, I can't direct traffic because there's a right-of-way, and I don't have the authority to. But I can certainly tell somebody when their way's clear, and I can speed up the process.
Ain't nobody coming. Take off.
Let's go, man. Go. And people look at you. And awesome, a lot of awesome drivers, smart people, but and every crowd, just one or two. And I'll tell you what, traffic cones, you throw a traffic cone into a mix like that, and it's like that cat and the pickle thing, where the cat and the cucumber meme, where the cat's sitting there and it turns and sees a cucumber and just
cow looking at the
new fence. Like, I don't understand what that's there for. So I put a cone out there to keep 2 lanes of traffic separate today. I said, this is this way the people leaving, the people coming, instead, because they keep driving over the same real estate, and eventually 2 of them are going to have one of them's going to trespass at the wrong time, and there's going to be an issue. And so I said, let me just set this cone right here. No less than 3 times, I think it was 4, it got completely plowed over. And then I'd motion for people to come around this cone, and they would go on the other side of the cone. And I would look at them funny, and then somebody would look at me like, I can't believe they did that. And then they would just do something completely different. And I'm going, I thought we was on the same page here, dog. I thought you and I, we made eye contact. I rolled my eyes. You shrugged and laughed, and then you did worse than they did. So, I mean, I thought we were on the same page, so I'm just going to let it go.
There was a thing on the news. I read something on the news in Florida. A lady ran over her 12-year-old kid in the school pickup drop-off line or whatever. I think it was a drop-off line. Yeah, ran over her own child. I was like, I bet that youngin' won't do whatever she did. Won't do that again.
I hope the kid's okay. But
the kid is okay. It's it's hurt but not dead.
I just I don't want to. I'm not saying a place. And the people that saw me, they know where I was. I will tell you one thing. There's a lot of people we know whose kids go where I've been working, and I have had people come up and go, "You look familiar, Charlie Strickland. How you doing? Oh man, really? You're watching my kid? Oh man, I feel so much better." I said, I'm looking for an employee going to take my place at some point in time. Well, I hope you don't find anybody. I'm like, well, I better. So I got some people in school going to get this squared away. I just got to rock this along for a few weeks till I can get it caught up. But I tell you what, I'm having a good time. I really am. I'm having a good time. I take my lunch. I ride around on the golf cart. I'm finding edible plants all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, man. I'm out there, and
So what plants?
I'm out there grazing on the side of the soccer field.
Why he eating the grass?
No, I'm out there the other day. No, I'm kidding. So I'm out there the other day and had a fire alarm. Not a fire alarm. Had a fire drill.
Lunch.
They're walking instead of. So I'm out there by the gate and say, okay, I'm gonna keep the UPS or the FedEx guy from coming in here so it doesn't run over all the kids that are filing out. And because I asked a question, what do I do in a fire drill? What do you want to do? I said, well, how about I just go up there as far away from the kids as I can? I'll block the gate. That's awesome. It's a good idea. And so I'm standing there and I look down and I say, okay, well, there's some Mexican clover. That's pretty good if you saute it. And there's some creeping wood sorrel right there. That's the lemony stuff. That tastes pretty good. JD would even eat that. I said, and then there's some. I can't remember. I forget the other one, but it was another thing that was it's got a little crunch to it, and I picked that up. I'm sitting there chewing on that a little bit, and then I go around back and find another one that Billy hadn't even shown me yet. And I looked at it and I said, that looks like it might be edible or poison ivy. One or the other.
Gosh.
So let me get a good picture of it, and I sent it to Billy. He was offshore on a party boat or something. He caught a bunch of what's some big redfish about that big and salt.
Beeliners.
Do what?
Beeliners.
I don't know what that is. They look like snapper, but I don't know.
Yeah, snapper season's out right now, but
triggerfish is in too. I don't know, probably
beeliners you can catch. You can keep.
Okay. Yeah, there's. I'll show you a picture and you can tell me what it was. But he had a whole mess of them, and then so I'd call, and the school's got chickens, so I was trying to get information on chickens. I'm gonna train them chickens to ride around on the golf cart with me.
Oh, the school's got live chickens. I thought you were talking about like chicken nuggets.
No.
Well,
they probably got
future chicken nuggets.
They probably got that. But
chicken nuggets on the hook or on the foot.
Yeah, it was. But it's like, well, what I do this with a chicken pen. I do that. I'm sitting over there looking. I go home and got me. I'm gonna do this with my chicken pen now, and I don't know, just something different. But I have had a good time this week. But I am wore slap out, and I'm gonna do my dangest tomorrow morning. Well, actually, this morning if you're listening to the show, I'm hoping when you're listening to the show on the radio that my lazy butt is still laying in the bed. But I know that the phone's gonna ring. Somebody said, "Hey, forward your phone to so and so, one of my employees," and I'm like, "I would," except he's the one who always calls me.
Beeliner, yep.
He sure looks a lot like that. Apparently your wife's headed home.
Oh, she is.
I'm glad she sent that text.
He
shows me his phone, and I look up there, and I'm looking at this fish, and I see a text pop up from his wife, said, headed home. And I'm like, I'm glad it was that text and not the other one that I got to read.
Yeah, beeliners is a vermilion snapper is the official name, but everybody around here calls it a beeliner.
Yep.
They're good to eat. They're not very big, but they're good to eat.
I'm trying to find, because Billy posted the actual, of course he posts so much it's hard to, I don't see it anymore.
I wonder how much aquatic vegetation out there on Lake Seminole that's edible.
Snatch you up some of that hydrilla. And
I have to ask Mr. Billy about it first.
Yeah, that's beeliners.
That right there.
Oh, God.
It's a big old stringer of beeliners.
It sure is.
Yeah, had a good old time.
That is the staple of head boats or party boats or whatever you want to call it in out of Panama City. That is their staple fish. That's what they look for because you can.
Got a bunch of
season's open on them essentially. I think year round, and you keep a pile of them, and everybody goes home with a bunch of fish. They're delicious.
How far out do those boats go?
Well, how far out is
far enough to make me sick?
Yes, enough to get seasick. I went on one of them.
And if you ever gonna get seasick, it'd be on a head boat. Them old big boats, they get to.
Never mind then. Well, I will live vicariously.
I'm gonna make Charlie sick just doing that.
And then you smell that diesel.
Yeah, and they're usually.
Fred don't get seasick. He said he's at the beach right now. I do believe.
He's
somewhere.
That jogger's in Mexico playing golf.
Oh, there's all that water behind him. I thought that was a.
No, he's down in Cancun, and I think Cancun playing golf or something. I don't know.
I hope you're keeping your balls dry down there. Playing golf next to the water like that, there's a big water hazard. I wonder if he took that llama ball with
Lord,
him.
I apologize
Must
for
have did. It's
them.
not here.
Well, he took it with him. I just
Yeah,
wonder if he went
must
down
have-
there
yeah,
to
he
play.
must have did.
They may claim it at the border. We'll be back in a minute. And we're back. As usual, the best content was on the break. However, it was not necessarily radio friendly. Well, I mean, you know, it wasn't something your kids couldn't listen to. It's just that some of the adults would want to string my neck, you strangle me or something. I can't believe you said that.
There's just, you know, there's so much fodder floating around right now in the world, and the things that are going on, and that happens every 4 years with elections. It's like, did that person really just say that their idea is to do X, Y, or Z to fix a problem?
Yeah.
And you just sit there and go, what are they thinking?
And the solution is not another government program.
No, giving people money.
It's not.
Giving people money. All right, first off, so
Grant's about to bust.
Go
it.
ahead, Grant.
Let him say it.
I was just going to say, this year feels like an accelerated version of
Yes.
all the other previous election
Yes,
seasons. Like,
that's right.
this is not.
the
This,
That's
election's
right.
coming up in no time.
this
That's
is like
like
not normal. Like,
Well, this- it's
everyone
like-
knows it, but it's like, this is
60
just.
days.
There's going to be another, like, year's worth of news, like, in the next month. And
So-
you just feel it, right?
Well, the thing is the Harris campaign is just saying we're just not going to say anything or talk to the press or give any. We're just going to sit back because we know we're in a good place, and if we say anything at all, it's going to hurt us.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
or
if
she
they
does
could
an
have kept
interview.
Biden in the basement the whole time, like they did the first time, then they would have. Then they would have. And so what it feels like, and what happened was the election wasn't going their way. They pushed the reset button and said, "Shh, y'all hush." Just ride and smile. It'll all be all right.
Yeah.
Just ride and smile.
Smile and wave, boys.
Yeah.
Smile away, boys. Smile
Every time
away.
you see Walls and Harris,
Yeah.
they're just smiling and waving. They're
Yeah,
not.
and all they got to do is shut up.
And Trump will dig a deep enough hole that he can't get
We're
himself
going to end
out
up
of.
with her as the president because our side can't get somebody that'll shut their mouth, and their side is just going to sit back. They can't find a competent person, but you know what? They're just like, hey, do no harm. Just go in there and shut up for 4 years, and we'll figure it out. It'll all be fine. But it ain't gonna be fine. And it ain't gonna be all right. The country's just going deeper and deeper in the crapper, which is why I'm more worried about us. Which is why I was out there looking for edible plants on the ground this week. I might be eating that before long because you know what? You can have all the inflation in the world, but I can walk right out there in the yard and I can eat for the same thing it cost my great grandma. When she went out there and did it, it's the same price. Nothing. Not a thing.
You just need you some hogs. You need you
I
some
don't need no
hogs.
hogs now. I'll get chickens. I got chickens. So I'll get some more chickens. All I need is a rooster. I can have some more chickens. And I'm all about some. I'll have critters. I'll even get goats, but no hogs. No more pigs on the Strickland farm. I can tell you that right now. We had our fair share. And if you don't know, I remember when Daddy had about 200 head of sows, and all the pigs that went with that.
We never had that many, but we probably had 30 or 40 head of sows and all the piglets and all the work. And if you ain't never hog farmed, just
They say
you
that
don't know what
smell
you're missing.
smells the smell of money.
My
It
family
smells like money. It does.
My family had a hog farm.
If
back
you
in the
rolled
day.
that
It was-
money around in pig
and
crap.
I can still smell it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's the kind of smell that you
You
have
can't wash off.
you can't wash up. You have two Chester drawers full of clothes, and those are just your work clothes. Those are the ones you take to that barn.
So I would go when I was just out of high school. It was first year in junior college, and I would be out working, and I would go to the Marion High School football game because we did on Friday night. And I would be sitting there in the stands and people looking around. And now I had taken a shower, put on clean clothes.
Right.
But still, and I could smell it on my hands. And the only thing I found that got it off was that Eagle One rim cleaner, that aluminum rim cleaner, that acid. I literally would from the elbows down, would spray that on my arms and hands, and then I'd wash my hands, and I didn't smell like pig crap after that.
I wonder if that them stainless steel soap bars that you get fish smell off your hands
Yeah,
with, that
yeah.
stuff works on onions and fish. I wonder
I
if
got
that'd
some of
work
those
on
at the
hogs.
house, but I don't have any pigs to go
I wonder if
test it
that'd
on.
work on the hog.
I don't know. If I find a pig somewhere, you know what, Daddy? I tell you what. Next time I kill a wild hog, I'll scoop up some and bring it to you and test it, because I ain't getting nowhere near it. And you know what? It's not just the pig crap. It's the pig crap, the mud, the water, the heat, that
rotten
cesspool. It's bubbling out there in the heat, and it's like a bowl of chili or a pot of chili that's just going bloop bloop.
Yeah,
and then you wade off
gets,
in there about waist deep.
Well,
I say waist deep because my brother Wes used to get waist deep in it.
It's that film on top of that.
It's almost like oil or something floating around out there.
It's like the gas station puddles, but worse.
Yes, yes.
What was it that what was one of those Mad Max movies or something where they had farmed a pig crap and they were getting fuel or something off
Thunderdome.
of that stuff? Yeah,
Beyond
Thunderdome. And I'm like, that's methane. Yeah, that's
it.
You get around it too long, you want some meth.
Strike fire to it. It's messed up, man.
Yeah. I think my brother is as successful as he is because Daddy made him work in a pig pen, and he said this. He graduated law school, and his all his guys he was working with at the time, clerking and we got up to the University Center as his graduation party, and I'm over there talking to these guys, and they're all working with him every day. And I said, I'll never forget him being out there in a pig pen, literally thigh to crotch deep. Ran out of the rubber boots. He's walking around out there in his socks, and run out there with his that were white socks, just flopping on his feet trying to catch these pigs. And the only time me and him ever got in a real fight was in the pig pen. I don't actually remember the fight, but he does. And and we would just the mess we had to do. And I said, I feel like today he probably went to all this trouble
motivation
just to get away from that and never have to deal with that again. And then he got up and he was giving his talk, and he says, I'll never forget standing out in the middle of a pig pen going, I'm never going to do this for a living. I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to make something of myself. And they looked at me like, I thought you were kidding. I'm like, no, that's you. If you don't know him well enough to know that's his background, now he runs with, all these folks and does all this stuff. And I'm proud of him. He's made an amazing career, amazing life for himself, his family. I'm so proud of him as my little brother. But when I think of him, that's the picture I have, is him standing out there mad as all get out. And he'd bow up. I would never bow up at my daddy, but he would bow up at my daddy. He'd get mad. And Robert, and I'm like, I don't believe I'd said that. But Daddy made it worse. He would just, boy, get on out there and do that. And I'm like, I said, I am never going to act like you. And now, I act just like you. If you ever met my daddy and you talked to me, you'd go, man, he's reincarnated right there. Except I'm not as big a troublemaker. I think Daddy had somewhere in his head there was a switch that got flipped. Probably in Vietnam or somewhere along the way when he was playing that rock and roll band before he got drafted and went to Vietnam. He was going to be a doctor. God help us all.
Come on here, let me cut that off. It's just your little finger. You don't need that. Come here.
Oh, I stuck my finger in the combine wheel one time and mashed it all up there. I graduated high school. And he goes, come here. I said, son, what was that? And I said, I don't know. I'm fine. He goes, no, what happened? I said, nothing. I'm fine, Daddy. And he looked down at my pants, and old blood's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I shoved my hand in my pants so he wouldn't see it. I didn't know what. It's not like I was thinking ahead of, eventually I'm going to have to confront this. I'm like, I know what he's going to do. He comes down there, let me see it. He grabs that old mashed up, that one. See how crooked it is?
Yep.
He grabs that old thing and starts, that little scar right there?
Yep.
That's from when I was 17 graduating high school. And he wrapped that sucker up.
Doctor on that a minute.
And you know what he put on it? 3 guesses.
That purple stuff, the spray, or mercurochrome?
No, mercurochrome. Methylate mercurochrome.
Yep.
Out of Papa's medicine cabinet up into, let's go to town. Went to town, got up there and opened that old metal medicine cabinet that bolts on the wall. And I'm like,
I figured you was at the farm, he'd have got a can of that purple stuff that you put on the...
We were out of that. Because we had cut pigs a week before.
Yeah.
with out
was
there
that?
with dual pocket
We
knives.
talked about,
trying
was
to-
it gentian violet or something along? It was.
Well, that stuff will work wonders.
Oh yeah, it cure you. It not fun. There's nothing fun about getting none of what we're talking about on you. Our kids never go. You know, my mama still got a little tiny bottle of mercurochrome or methylate or one or the other in the medicine cabinet, and it's like. It's got to be, that bottle's got to be 40 years old. I mean, it's just,
Yep.
And I'm like, Mama, I don't think the FDA approves that stuff anymore. Well, it works. I'm not absorbing junior. I mean, all of that stuff.
A couple of years ago, I had a kid hook one of them frogs like I showed last week. It was a double hook. Hooked me in the back of the head.
Oh.
I mean,
On the cast?
buried it on the cast.
Oh.
Kind of lifted me up a little bit. And I was like, so I ran into Mr. Carter's house, and he said, come in here. And he got a piece of rope a little bit bigger than that. And that
Did the loop
same
trick?
stuff.
Oh.
Poured it on my head and jerked, and my head jerked back. And he said, oh, you better go on to the doctor. So I had to come down to the walk-in place. I'm driving down the interstate, and I'd pull up to a stop sign, and people would go,
I know.
like, what?
Hey, man, yes, I know.
I'd act like I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like,
I know.
This was recently.
that was about 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Right there, around the back of the head.
Did they try
First time I ever been
Did they
hooked.
try the fishing line?
No,
trick?
the doctor that was there, he said, oh, them were pretty big hooks. He said, I'm going to go out to my truck and get my tools. And that's what he did. So he came back in, and they had these big silver-looking dikes. And
Yeah,
he
wire
said,
dikes,
do
cut
you
'em.
need this the hook on this frog? I said, no, I don't need it. Go ahead.
That'd be all right. Well, when I got a taser probe through my thumb, through the bone in my thumb, and it went all the way through the bone and was in my fingernail on the other side.
Ooh.
And went
How'd
into
that
the
happen?
ER.
Long story.
Static electricity will set those the old taser cartridges off, and I was trying to tape the cover back on it so we could use it for practice, and it went off. And one stuck me in the face, and one stuck me all the way through the thumb. And so I went in there, and the doctor at TMHER, they gave me some pain stuff and calmed me down, and got one of my partners that took me up there to hold me down.
All right.
And he got his surgical vice grips.
Oh, God.
Shiny vice grips. And he said, that's okay, I sanitize them. He snatched that thing out of my thumb. I'll be back.
Golly.
Them taser probes are
Yeah, that's the
nothing-
ones that shoot out. And
Yeah,
got
but
the
it's
rope
it's
with
a
wire
number
on it.
it's a number 6 brim hook on the end of that probe. It's
Okay.
a number 6 brim hook that they straighten out, but it's got a barb in it. It looks just like an Aberdeen brim hook.
Yep, got
That's
you.
a taser probe right there.
Bobby. Yeah, I can see how that could go through.
And it went all the way through, and you could see the tip of it right there. I have that taser probe at the house in a box with the bone wrapping still under that barb. It's nasty, but I keep it in case somebody calls me a liar.
Yes.
I go, here it is right there. See, that's part of my bone. I mean, people have part of their thumb bone.
All right. Segment bottom of the hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wiregrass segment. In 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. We got local elections coming right quick like. Mm-hmm. I'm early voting this weekend in Jackson County.
Well, I
And I
figured
encourage y'all all to go vote as long as you vote for the same people I'm voting for.
I figured that I would do the mail-in thing, and then I go do the early vote thing.
No, you're not a Democrat.
And then
you can't do that.
then I will go on election day and actually vote for real.
I didn't know you had re-registered as a Democrat, JD. We only get to vote once.
That's the one. I'm not scared of dying because I know I'm going to heaven. I know I'm saved and I'm going to heaven. I ain't scared of dying on account of dying. I'm scared of dying because I'm afraid I'm gonna vote Democrat after they put me in the ground. No.
So yeah, I will tell you, like in my hometown in Jackson County, nobody runs as a Democrat anymore. They just
Yeah,
I knew it switched when even my cousin, who'd been elected last go around as a Democrat, switched to Republican.
Yeah. My
He
dad
just-
was in politics.
He waited till he got elected, and then he switched to
My
Republican.
dad was in politics in Gadsden County. He was on the school board and elected in 1980. Died in 1981, but he got elected in 1980 as a Democrat. But
School board's rough,
The
man.
Democrat, that didn't have nothing to do with it. The Democrat the Democrat Party really changed a lot, and so did the Republican Party, I guess, during Ronald Reagan's
Yeah.
the 1980 Reagan thing. But
I did not like the Republican Party growing up. I was
it was a
taught
bunch
not
of
to
bunch
like
of
the
yeah,
Republican
it was a
Party.
bunch of rich old men, and
Yeah.
that
They were destroying the farm bill. They hated everything to do with anything that supported farmers and all that kind of stuff. Even though it was Democrats, Jimmy Carter and the rest of them that helped the rest of the world out-farm us in some aspects. Produce more stuff, put it on the world market.
I will say this: I'm not a giant fan of either party in particular. I am a fan of a politician that wants to not do much while they're there. We don't need any more government
We need fewer laws.
need any more laws. Right. We don't need any more government interference in commerce or life. They need to keep the roads paved, keep the Army strong, and make sure there's police officers and firefighters. And after that, I need them to leave me alone.
Smaller government, not more government, smaller government. And you know what? There might be some things that end up being legal that I don't agree with.
Oh, you can bet the recreational marijuana bill will the amendment will probably pass.
No, I'm just saying, if we took government away, there's going to be places and states that are going to approve things that I don't think are right. There's everything from drugs to abortion to all kinds of stuff, and they're going to make that stuff legal in certain places. And you know what? It ain't going to happen in my house, and it ain't going to happen on my street. And if it does, they need to stay on their side of the street, keep it away from me. I don't even get offended when people want to pretend to be things they're not, or you know what?
That's the
have at it, man. You go do what you want to do. But don't be mad when I make fun of you a little bit, because if you ain't secure enough with who you are to at least take a joke, and you're so worried about what I said, if what I said offended you so bad, then you woke up this morning looking to get offended. Because if you can't take a dad joke every now and then, then man, that's a rough life for you. That's all I'm saying. You trying to be miserable at this point.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of people are probably like us. It takes a whole lot to offend me, and making fun of my appearance or my values or whatever. You can't make enough. I mean, there's nothing about that. If you don't, it doesn't offend me. I'm not going to lose any sleep over what somebody else thinks about me, and that's just the bottom line. I
told somebody to do. I told you the story off there. I told somebody to do something the other day, and I was moving people around like I needed to do at this current position I've been helping out with this week. Told somebody to do something, they didn't want to do it, and I just stood there and said, "Well, we're gonna stand here till you do it, or you're gonna follow the rules." And they got mad. And I tried to explain it to them later on. I said, "Listen, I'm not trying to pick on you, but you got everybody around you mad at you." And if I don't do something, then not only are they mad at you, they're mad at me, and they disrespect me, and they don't respect me in the future. Now, and I'm the one here trying to protect you. And then she got madder, and then the next day, today, she came back and apologized. And I was like, well, that is an extreme, because my whole thought process was what she was doing was very juvenile. After the fact, she came and apologized to me, and I think we're friends now, and she's super friendly.
But that's not the norm, though, nowadays, Charlie.
No,
that's right.
For her to acknowledge that is way outside of the norm.
The norm is nobody ever is wrong about anything, even when they're really wrong about things.
But I didn't lose any sleep over it. I'm pretty sure she did. Yeah. But then she came back. Now we're good. But people don't have the level of maturity to do what she did, and I applaud her for what she did, admitting that I was right. We'll be right back.
I'll keep it.
In 3, 2, 1.
And we're back.
Yeah, so this week school started back over here, and this was the first time in, I don't know, 10 or 12 years I haven't had to drive a youngin' to school.
Feels good,
or pick a youngin' up from school.
Feels good, doesn't it? That was last year for me.
Son,
halfway through the year.
All week long, I have slept in to 7:30. I hadn't got up before 7:30 all week.
Lordy. Yeah, Jessie started driving to school last school year, and now she's the Dry Creek bus for all the extended family.
She's got the Suburban.
This year, yeah, she's in the Suburban. But now this year, Donna said, okay, well, Tuesdays and Thursdays she's not going to take them because she's got to be at Chipola College for her dual enrollment stuff. And I'm like, she's just a junior. Why is she going? Okay, fine. And I got to think about it. I said, whoa, who's going to take them? She goes, well, we'll sort it out. I'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. Don't point. Yeah, our pheasant trip.
Yeah.
I was informed yesterday. Apparently, my wife looked at the calendar. That is on our anniversary, but I was informed that it was on our anniversary. And I'm like, yeah, I hadn't got around to telling you about that yet. I put it on the calendar a while back.
Well,
so she would eventually find it. I just, so not like I was hiding it. Anyway.
Well, so I spoke to the guys up there and spoke to Jesse, and there may be an opening. We may, if we have to get in touch with everybody, make sure they can still do it. We may be able to go a couple of weeks earlier if you want me to. If you want me to do that for you, Charlie.
Well, you just had to say it on there, didn't you?
I'm
yes, JD,
sure,
make every bit of effort you can to make that happen.
I'm not sure that the dates are still available. I will have to ask. So anyway, I may need guidance from you on this, and
I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Did Donna actually listen to the radio show?
When it's inconvenient for me, yes. Anytime.
See, I can say anything I want on this radio show, which I would never do, but I can because my wife don't listen to the show, nor do I. So anything.
Do you know when my wife listens? When somebody else hears something and says, you need to listen to what your husband said on it. So whoever you are.
Y'all need to quit snitching because snitches end up in ditches.
You need to stop. Well, I figured out. Y'all quit now. Just quit. Oh man!
I caught the Dickens last week. Preston made some comment on the show on Wednesday last week, Wednesday morning, a week and a half ago now. Called me a security expert.
And
I'm like, don't call. And we've had that discussion with Preston before. I'm not an expert at nothing, but maybe eating. I'm a pretty good. I can eat now.
Security expert.
I am not an expert on a whole lot of nothing. But anyway, it wasn't. I ain't been at work an hour. Got off the radio, came out here to work, and my wife says, "So you're a security expert now, huh?" And I'm like, "Well, I know you didn't listen." I'm like, she goes, "Yeah, about 3 people have come up to me and said something." I was like, I didn't call myself that. I may be an expert on firearms. I might could qualify as that. I might qualify as an expert gun guy. Mm-hmm. Whatever that just as your neighborhood friendly neighborhood gun guy, I might come close to being that.
So here's what I consider an expert. If you are a knowledgeable person in an area, okay, let's say you know all about underwater basket weaving. This is this is your hobby. You know people in it and all that stuff. And somebody says, "Hey man, I need an expert on underwater basket weaving," and the first person that pops in their mind is you. You in my world are an expert on underwater basket weaving. Now, I'm a gun guy. I am a gun guy. But when somebody asks me, "Hey, I need to know about X, Y, and Z on this gun," I don't think of anybody but you.
Okay, well, I'll
that
own
makes
that.
you an expert.
I own that. I might own that one. I just it's just always weird.
And the other thing is, if I answer them, I'm like, I wonder if JD's going to hear that because I don't know if I'm right or not. But I don't want him to have to contradict me because then, I think now I am knowledgeable about things. But you got to tell me who I'm up against or whether I will claim to be an expert or not. Now I can shoot. Like the other day, I went out there to qualify as a school guardian with Gadsden County. I went out there and I had to, I'm still law enforcement and all this stuff. So I went out there, but I had to shoot. And I got out there and I don't say much because I don't know how I'm gonna shoot that day. But I had a good day. I had a good day that day.
Sometimes everything just hit
that
on all
day.
cylinders.
I had a good day. And it was I shot as well as I've ever shot, period. And I walked out of that and I'm like, oh, okay, I feel good. I'm glad you weren't there. I'll put it that way. I put myself that day against anybody, anywhere. I'm glad it wasn't me and JD standing there, because then JD would have felt
game on.
I got to outdo you, and then I got to take it to another level. That once I have to push myself to that level, now all of a sudden it's a little performance anxiety going on here. I got. God dang,
I don't want to stand next to him on the line.
Everybody else is out there talking about, here's the deal: is we up there shooting at the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yard line. Everybody's kind of got a tight group. Mine's pretty tight, and then we backed up, and then mine didn't get no bigger, and you up there at first, and somebody, man, I'm shooting with Charlie, I'm hanging with Charlie, and then all of a sudden, I ain't hanging with Charlie no more. But I was impressed with a lot of skill set. But there again, I was having a good day. There are other days. Where you just don't. It's like when we go demo a class and we're gonna get up. Okay, here's you're gonna draw here. You can shoot this head plate on the front sight, flash front sight, boom, ding, and you hit you put that little gray spot in the middle of that white painted fresh head plate, and it's right dead square in the middle, and you did it perfect. You don't demonstrate nothing else.
No.
See, guys, that's what you need to do right there.
You walk off.
And y'all just do that, and you'll be fine.
I learned that from Bill Rogers.
I know.
I went up there, and he asked me to demo this drill, and I got up there, and I just drew that pistol out like lightning. I mean, everything was greased up, and it was pow, 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 pow. Hit, head plates falling and everything. And I said, man, that felt pretty good. I'm gonna run that again. And I got up there, and I just blew it. I mean, it was horrible. And Bill called me over to the side, and he said, man, when you walk up there to demo a drill and you smoke it like you did the first time, he said, you put that daggum gun back in the holster and you walk off with your chin tucked up, and you don't do that. You
don't let them see. Ever shoot again.
Never shoot in front of that group of people again.
Because you just went from man, that J.D. Johnson, he's hot. Do you ever seen him? Man, that guy, he's a legend, man. He shot better than Bill Rogers did out there that day. He's even J.D. can have a good run and a bad run. I can screw up, and J.D. does too. And so you learn that early on. So when you're teaching, you get up there and go, say, here's what I want you to do. Bam, and they go, wow, and you go, Yep. And you put it up, and you go, see, I can get you shooting like that too if you just pay me enough to come out here and teach it. It's oh man.
I did a thing.
It'd be like you catching a bass on the first cast.
When you're pointing at that, see that stump right there. Now what you want to do is you want to throw just past that. Watch what I do here. Right. You throw just past that stump. Whop. Boom, and there he is, and you better not cast another time the rest of the day. Just throw that rod down and go, I'm going to guide you the rest of the day.
I've learned that.
He said, do it like this. No, don't do it like that. Do it like I showed you to
remember how I showed you?
Can you show me again? No, I don't want to fish. You're paying me to fish. You go fish. I'm just going to stand here.
I did this has been before we ever built the range, but we had bought the property, and we had some sand pushed up down there by the pond, and there was some company came here doing a documentary for German television, and they wanted some footage or whatever, and they're interviewing me for German television documentary about guns in America and this, that, and the other, and did an interview. Do you mind coming and shooting? And so I'm sure, no problem. We had a head plate rack set up down there, 6 head plates, and they want to video me, and there's all right, go, and I pull that thing out, and I said, bam, 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 6 shots. Dropped all them head plates.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah. And I'm like, did you get that? And they go, yeah. I said, I'm not shooting anymore.
I hope you got the right angle, because
it was just one of those. I'm not doing that again, because now everybody in Germany thinks I'm the baddest dude on the planet with John Wick, Yeah. Knowing I couldn't do it again to save my life.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Woo! I was telling somebody today, he goes, "Oh, you have a radio show?" And I said, "Yeah, we do this and this and this." I said, we try to keep it. I wouldn't say it's super family friendly. When I do the YouTube stuff,
it's PG, but not PG-13.
Is this show designed for children? I always check no, because I know it's really not. But we try to keep it on the up and up, unless Fred's here now. If y'all could hear what was on the breaks today, you would know that Fred ain't the only one to blame. But y'all ain't hearing these because it got. So that said, we did lose a friend recently.
Yeah, we did. Tommy Campbell. Tom Campbell. Tommy was a big. He was a sales rep, a traveling sales rep for Safariland, a holster company. Safariland's a bigger, more than holster company now, but Tommy, before Tommy did any of that, Tommy was a world class shooter. He was a absolute world class competitive shooter, Bianchi Cup, long range, you name it. Tommy was old school, IDPA Bianchi Cup guy, and was a great guy. I think Tommy was, I'm guessing early 80s, 81, 82, still working every day, traveling millions of miles a year.
Well, it has helped us a number of occasions.
Has gone out his way to help us, and stopped by the store and visited regularly. Matter of fact, he was in the store a month or so ago, and just found out yesterday that we lost him at some point in time in the last couple of days.
And he worked hand in hand with Bill
Rogers.
Rogers.
Yeah, he was one of early on Bill Rogers in Safariland guys, and Bill Rogers is one of the guys in the industry that you and I look up to greatly. And you don't a lot of people don't know these people, but if you look them up, you can find them and you read about them, and they're Bill Rogers is still to this day, as far as I know, one of the primary designers and innovators for Safariland holsters. He sold his holster company to them back in the mid 80s, early 80s, yeah. Rogers Holster Company, and he was innovative as far as for law enforcement, locking holsters, safety holsters for law enforcement.
Over the years, we have seen, and I know you more than I, but we have seen Bill Rogers come to his shooting schools with the newest, coolest, this is going to be the next Safariland holster, this is the ALS, this is to this, and this, and he's demonstrating this stuff to us in these shooting schools, which, I mean, I know you, and to a large degree me, developed a lot of our skills from Bill Rogers' teaching.
Absolutely.
And law enforcement, all of the steel stuff, and then the holster design. If you're a cop out there, there's a chance you're carrying something that Bill probably had the vast majority of the design work in, and Tommy did most of. He was around that, and I don't know all his input, but he was probably the one that helped market and sell that product out there to all of y'all.
And
both of those guys have been big supporters.
Tommy was really good at explaining how it worked and why it worked the way it did, and Bill was amazing. I got the opportunity several years ago to go to Bill's shooting school up in Ellijay, Georgia, up in the mountains. And more importantly, not only did I get to go to the shooting school, I got to go to his workshop, his big barn at the back, and I got to go in there and see where. That's like, to me, that was like going. It would be like going into Thomas Edison's shop and seeing where the prototype stuff got done and how he figured some of this engineering. So there's a lot of design and engineering that goes into some of this stuff. And but yeah, you and I, our entire career carried holsters that were. Locking, safety, security holsters that everybody now takes for granted. They don't know the backstory. They just know you push that button and flip that lever, and the holster will release the gun.
Old school 070 SS3. And
295
forward draw. The whole 9 yards. Yeah, man.
We know the history of all that because right about the time Charlie and I both started in law enforcement, they had just gone to these holsters that bad guys couldn't beat the cop up and take their gun away from them.
And half the cops couldn't figure out how to get
and a lot of cops couldn't figure out how to draw and get them out of the holster, but those guys could, and they did a lot of the teaching and training for law enforcement officers to be able to use these things. So, but it's a great loss to the industry and to us personally as a friend. So
going in his shop might be like going into Paul Tyer's fishing tackle shed behind his house up there on the lake. You walk in there and go, ooh, what's all this?
I tell you what, that's a good segue into fishing.
I know it was. That's why I did it.
You're good. You're so good, Charlie. I tell you what,
never mind.
It was cool this morning. I was on the lake this morning, and man, it felt. Not quite a sweatshirt, but makes you think fall's coming. Then about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
It was over with.
Yep, but it's still dry. It's been a little bit dry the last few days, but the bass were biting. They sure were. We caught some this morning. I brought a few baits. I had a person reach out to me last week and said, about time you start showing some baits on the radio. So I said I'm trying to get better so you can actually see what I'm talking about.
Show me on the radio what you got there.
So I brought some that's been working. This is a topwater prop bait. It's made by Brian B's bait. It's wood. It's got 2 blades on each end of it and a feathered treble hook. And if you throw that right there around some hydrilla right now, or on the edge
Show
of
that
it.
up there to the camera.
That thing's pretty.
I'm thinking about the radio.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well, no, the other camera. The one that the light's on up there. Well, they've got.
both of them are on.
There we go.
That looks like a head
Kinda
and
resembles
I'm
a
gonna
Grant.
Grant,
a head and
hook
torpedo
yourself with
that
a
ain't.
finger around that.
That's right.
Careful.
Give me that thing.
And I like to throw that on some braided line to a monofilament leader. Mm-hmm. So that because if you tie a direct braid to it, that when you pop it, it'll wrap around the braid. So, but tie a monofilament leader to it, 20-pound test monofilament leader, and just pop it. You want to move it, but not move it forward. Just pop it, let it sit.
Yep.
And
So why would the braid wrap around it? Because it's not as stiff.
that's right.
And
That's
so the
exactly the
monofilament is
reason.
stiffer, so when you snatch it, it doesn't curl up around.
That's
it
right. Like
in-
a frog, this right here, you wouldn't have an issue with that. You can tie braid direct to it.
Anything that spins like that,
That's right.
it'll.
Remember old devil horses?
Old devil horses would, yeah.
Yeah, them old devil horses. I'll tell you what.
And another
I remember them.
another bait that's been working right now is a pop-ar.
That's
You
a
remember,
pop-ar.
remember Jack Wingate used to have
yeah.
hundreds of these in his shop he would
Yep.
sell a year. That's old Rebel
Rebel,
pop-ar.
yep.
I like to shave the front lip of it. It's just a popping bait. You just makes bloop. And if you shave that lip, it'll make it more of a spitting action. And when the shads start running like they're starting to around the edges of the grass, that is a very productive lure. You can throw that thing a mile.
That's a big one. They make a junior too.
Oh yeah,
a smaller one.
I got a smaller one here.
There's a junior.
But
See
my
there?
problem on Lake Seminole, and this is, I haven't changed the hooks out on these. I like to go bigger hooks because them little hooks,
Yep.
Man.
Straighten out.
they can straighten them out.
A big one. A
But
big
down
one.
the river, that you might, all you got's wood and rock. You ain't got to worry about it. But that grass, they get in that grass, you got to pull them out.
that 3-pound bass becomes an 8-pound bass with,
That's right.
with the grass getting caught up in
That's
there.
right. That's right. So that's top water's been working. It's going to continue to work as we go into the fall. The brim are on the main lake grass lines. We've been catching them on crickets and beetle spins. I had talked to a fella yesterday that went out and he said in a couple hours he caught like 40.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Because everybody on the radio was like, what was he just showing? So if you were going to go into a store
Okay.
that sold fishing tackle and you wanted those things you just showed,
Right.
what would you walk in there and ask for?
I would actually go in there and ask for a Rebel Pop-R. That's what it's called.
Rebel
Rebel Pop-R.
Pop-R.
That's right.
Okay.
And then
POP-R.
this bait works just as good. A Berkeley Spin Bomb. That's what this is.
Berkeley Spin Bomb.
Berkeley Spin Bomb. See how much bigger that hook is on there?
Not to be confused with a whopper plopper.
Well, this has got props on both ends. And
Don't you love fishing tackle
Berkeley
cutting these
Spin
like-
Bomb, Rebel Pop-R.
There you go.
There's probably a rated R version of the names for these things too.
Yeah, they are.
No, there's not. Not really.
Yeah, all right. Well, there's some good Christians out there building these things. And what we gonna call that? I don't know. All right. So, well, good. I just think it'd be something because somebody goes, whatever that was, I want to go try it. And they're gonna show up at
That makes
Academy
total
or
sense.
Bass Pro
And
or
you
Kevin's
can go
or
on to
something.
Bass Pro or Kevin's or check Tackle Warehouse. They got them. If you look.
That's why we don't sell fishing bait no more because everybody check Tackle Warehouse.
Yeah, we selling stuff here. It's like, well, what color worms we want? Well, we got 900 packs of worms, and there's only like 5 of them that ever sold.
And that's something that's starting to work too. I'm going to talk about that next week.
Okay, all right. Well, Grant, are you just giving us the finger?
Well, yeah.
Oh, that
Oh,
finger.
what-
Okay. And if we had offended you,
Yeah, I drove across the Apalachicola River, and it looking like the level of the river looks really good right now.
I was
for
noticing.
fishing.
I went across this morning. We went and put it up in Paramore's. Mm-hmm. They bite on the river.
just be glad when I get to drive across it in the daylight again. Because every time I've been over this week, it's been dark. I'm ready to take some time off.
I'm ready to take some time off too. It's 2 weeks till football season.
Uh-huh.
Dove season opens in Georgia in September,
Yep.
Florida in October. We got a bunch of shotgun shells. Y'all come get your shotgun
I
shells
got
ready
millet
for.
growing in the field right now.
There you go.
It's
It
gonna
won't
be
be
time
long.
to mow it.
It won't be long.
Normal agriculture practice of mowing that stuff in the fall.
That's
All right, we'll see y'all next week.